Hey everybody, Hunter Fisher, Trapper, Trader, Guide, Scout, and Interpreter, and Country Cook Steve Hall, along with pretty Miss Sheila behind the camera there, in Nashville, Tennessee with another great recipe. Today it's kind of like just snacks during the football game. Now, I don't want to pick sides or anything, but me and my son Stevie are a big Packer fan, so me and Sheila, we went out to his house and Debbie's house and all the kids and grandkids out there to watch the Packers beat the Dallas Cowboys. Whew, that was a great game. And while we were there, here comes Debbie Dover Hall, his wife. She's pretty famous. She does a lot of the clients, she does hair, and a lot of her clients are big stars like Ronnie Dunn from Brooks and Dunn and people like that. Well, before I get off on that, she's from Texas. So even though she pulls for the Packers, she's from Texas, and she brought a queso dip, a Texas queso dip in and shared it with everybody, and it was absolutely fantastic. How many times have you came home with a little piece of paper where somebody wrote down what it was for you? Well, I got it right here, and let me show you what I'm going to put in this little pot right here. Watch this. All right, to get this recipe going, we're going to put in 1.5 cups of milk. 2% milk, 1.5 cups in there. Then we're going to put in some Velveeta cheese. Now there's a lot of recipes out there where they just do Velveeta, and let me turn my little can around here. We're going to use a mild RO TELs. What I did is I chopped it in half, then I chopped each half in half, so I'm going to use 3 of these little squares. And I noticed that Velveeta now has, I couldn't find it in the store, but they got little individual 2-ounce wrapped packages, which is pretty smart. We'll put this over here, and I'm going to put 3 of these guys in here. If I can find, there's my knife over there. I cut them, but I didn't cut the little cuts. Let me turn my burner up here and get this going. Now, I guess you could do this in the microwave, but I'm going to do it in this little fry pan, electric fry pan here. I'm going to put 3 of these in there. Now, she only used a half a brick, and I said, I think I'd like it a little smoother and a little more cheesier. And she said, well, you know, make it your own. So, but her Texas queso dip is absolutely outstanding. So I'm putting 3/4 of a brick of that cheese in there. And then here's the RO TELs. We'll put that in there. I guess you could drain it, but I just left the juice in there. And here's where she changes direction with everything. This is the standard. In fact, a lot of people just melt the cheese and the RO TELs, don't even put the milk in there. But I'm going to put in what she does. A can of cream of chicken soup. It gets interesting, folks. Trust me, you're going to love this. I hope your team wins, as long as it's the Packers. Thank you very much. But 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Make sure that's on my little list here. And then 1 pound of ground up burger. But what I did is, we kind of buy the big packages and we just kind of chop it, you know, hilly-milly, so to speak. Well, I wound up where it kind of looked like a 1 pound package. So what I did is I fried it, browned it, and then I drained it on some paper towels and I put it in here. 1 cup seemed to be about 1 pound. I just brought it out of the refrigerator, so it's going to fight me tooth and nail here. It's not going to want to come out of there. But that's all right, because we're going to make it. 1 pound of ground beef, browned up and seasoned. Make sure as you brown it up, I use the Magic 4, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. Ooh, it's already starting to thicken here. And when this cheese gets to happening, it's going to be great. Something else I did too is I like little teeny bits of hamburger. So if you got any bigger chunks, mash it in the pan with a fork, or kind of fry it till it's not really crisp, but done enough to where you can separate it into little teeny pieces of beef. That way you'll get some with every bite. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off so you don't have to sit here and watch this cheese slowly melt. And I'll be back when it gets a little further down the line. See you in a second. Man, oh man, you're not going to believe what's been going on since you've been gone. I simmered this. Let me turn this burner completely off. I simmered this for about 20 minutes. on real low simmer. So it just had a few little bubbles with the lid off to let some of the moisture get out of there, let it start to thicken. And there's an old saying, never mess with the lady's recipe. It wasn't enough burger, so I went back in the kitchen and I fried up some more to get what actually equaled a pound. And now it has the consistency of what Debbie Dover Hall gave me on that little piece of paper. So when you get these little recipes that have grandkid pictures on here, I think Mav drew a truck, and little Amarillo, she drew a little smiley face. She likes to draw them, so I'll hang on to this. This is the recipe right here. Texas Queso Dip. And let me plate some of this up for you here. Obviously, you don't want to serve this hot because your guests will all leave with burned tongues, so you want to let it cool down to at least warm. And then I'm sure it's going to thicken even more than that. So it's already just about perfect dip texture. What a great recipe. The only change I did make is I changed that to 3/4 of a brick of Velveeta instead of half. And you can do the original with just half and it'll turn out just as good, but I wanted a little more smoothness of cheese, so I like to experiment with stuff. So let's take a look at this. All right. I gotta kind of laugh here because I told Sheila, I said, I need something real manly. You know, this is a Texas queso dip, and we want to put this in a dish so people can really dip in there and do the right thing. And you know how Sheila likes to go shopping. So this is our little, this is it, folks. I'm sorry, but the queso dip's up here. The chips are down here. We let this cool off just a little bit, and look at that. Man, chunks of meat, all kinds of goodies. Again, you're going to need 1 pound of ground beef. Don't skimp like I did originally. Drained, you know, after you fry it. 1 can of cream of chicken soup. 1.5 cups of milk, 2%. 1 can of RO TELs, mild. Now you can use regular if you want to kick it up a notch. And 1/2 a block of Velveeta. Or you can use 60% or 75% like I did. I guess maybe I just wanted more dip. Is that a crime? So I'm going to try that. Look at that. I know what it tastes like because I just had it. If I eat it, I'll smackety smack on camera. But I want to say thanks a lot for watching this. Debbie, thanks for the recipe. And tell Steve I'm coming out there to watch Green Bay go on to the Super Bowl, hopefully, and we'll bring out some of this queso dip, or we'll get you to make it, your recipe. But there, by the way, there's our subscribe button. If you like our recipes, click the button, subscribe to our channel. That way when a new recipe gets posted, it just automatically notifies you. Hopefully you watch a few of the commercials here and there. That gives us a couple pennies. And is this the best queso dip you ever had? Boy, if it ain't, it ought to be. I'm going to take it a step further. Yes, it is. Don't just melt Velveeta and throw in some RO TELs. Put in all these other goods, the milk, the cream of chicken, all that stuff, the hamburger, and you'll end up, what have you tried? Sausage, like a breakfast sausage mixed in here. Oh, it just goes on forever. But try the original Debbie Dover Hall Texas queso dip, and you're going to love it for your next event. Sheila, thanks for videotaping this, and I'm going to try a little bite now. That way I can smack after the camera's off. See you later.